Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever and wherever you're listening. Welcome to episode 184 of the Dadbod Golf Pod. I've never liked that intro. I'm just going to be totally honest. I just had to do it because Nate's not here. So we're just going to kick it off and go right into it. It's episode 184. It's Kyle and Ben bringing it back old school. We're ready to rock and roll on a Would You Rather Wednesday. We got two banger scenarios. We're going to talk a little bit of golf, but first, we're going to let you know tonight's episode is brought to you by Bet Online. What is Bet Online, Ben?
It is a website that you can play roulette in the middle of the night.
If you want to play roulette in the middle of the night, if you want to shoot craps at 2:30 a.m., or if you want to pick a future winners on golf, live bet, whatever you want to do, it's the #1 sports betting website in the country. NBA playoffs, the finals are just about set.
Oh yeah,
finals are just about set. We just had a game, I think it was game 7 in the Western Finals. I'm not sure about the East yet, how that's wrapped up. Did the Celtics end up winning that?
The Celtics did end up winning it. Also, the thing that I took away from it was it made its way all over Instagram today. Steph Curry got his clubs regripped for the finals.
He did. Steph Curry got his clubs regripped before the finals.
And did it just like the rest of us. Went to Dick's Sporting Goods.
Could have been a Golf Galaxy. I don't know. It was right beside a Best Buy, though, for sure. Use coupon code BLEAV, BLEAV, get a 50% welcome bonus. Give them $100. They're going to give you 50 back, so you can bet on how many rounds of golf Steph Curry is going to play during the finals, because they just clinched tonight. So check them out. We love them. They love us. Bet Online, where the game starts. Guys, we took Monday off for Memorial Day. So we want to talk real quick about the tournament this past weekend, the Charles Schwab Challenge, which is hard to say Charles Schwab just to begin with. But then you throw in challenge at the end. And we still haven't figured out why the heck they call it a challenge and not an open, an invitational tournament, championship. I mean, there's so many things you can call it. They went with challenge. So the Charles Schwab Challenge, it's one of the tournaments that's at the same venue every year at Colonial Country Club, is in Fort Worth. Is that where it is?
Yep.
Fort Worth. Pretty historic course. That's the course Ncaa. Yeah, I believe. Yeah, was it Ncaa Sorensen that she played? That was her first event as a woman playing in a man's event in the PGA Tour. That was where she played her first PGA Tour event. Awesome. Ended up being a really awesome tournament. It was knotted up there for a while on Sunday. Believe it or not, Scheffler, who went out with like a 2-shot lead, fell back and into a playoff with Sam Burns. And Sam Burns hit just an electric bomb on the 18th hole to the first playoff hole to win it.
I just want to go on record on our text messaging. I called it like a full hour and a half before it ever happened.
You did. I believe you did say he'd win outright, though. Did you say he'd win outright, or did you just say?
No, I just said he's going to win this tournament. I said he's going to mess around and win this tournament.
You did. Sam Burns finished like 2 hours before everybody else.
2 hours and 20 minutes.
Shot 67, or maybe it was even
65. He shot
65 because it was a par. It's a par.
71.
That's right. Because it's a par 71. So it was, shot 65. Gets into the clubhouse, and then the weather kind of got a little windy, and the greens they really like the term crispy. The greens got crispier as the day went on. If they said it once, they said it 1,000 times. Crispy greens. And then dudes just started dropping like flies. Harold Varner was 5 over, was 10 under, and then went to 5 under in 2 holes. He had
I sent a text to Kyle and Nate, our group text that we're always doing, especially during tournaments. And remember, I showed you the money list, and I drew an error. I said this was in 1 hole. This was Harold Varner, and he lost over $1 million in 1 hole. If he would have stayed tied for the lead, and he would have ended up winning it, because at that time he was tied for the lead. And if he would have stayed tied for the lead and won it, he would have won I think it's 1.7 million.
Yeah.
And he dropped down to like a couple of 100,000. And then the very next hole, he decided to double again, and he dropped.
You didn't even talk about the triple. He 4 putted
That was the hole. That was that 12. That was where he went. He lost. That was a $1.5 million four putt.
He four putted from like not that far.
Four putted from 19 feet is what the stat said.
From 19 feet, from 19 feet he putted it 9 feet, and then he blew a 10-footer 6 feet past, and then he missed the 6-footer coming back. So yeah, that's 1, 2, 3, 4. That's how you four putt. But yeah,
it's easy to do. Kyle did this as a scenario. We posted on Instagram one time. We were like, how many 10-footers could we hit in a row? And I don't know. I can't remember how many we got. I think most we ever got. One of y'all got. It wasn't me. I think you got to 5, maybe.
I can't remember.
5, 10. So I couldn't imagine with tournament conditions and pressure on the line
and crispy greens.
And crispy greens, that 10-footer had to have looked 15 feet, especially after you just blew your 19-footer by 10 feet. So it probably looked like the same length putt, but and then he doubled it. But what a trooper, man. I will say HV3 hung around afterwards, took pictures, signed autographs. He did sign
autographs. I'd have been pissed off and left. Just go ahead and tell you.
He had a smile on his face with his caddy. Of course, I told my wife while we were watching that, he like afterwards, he gives his caddy a hug and both of them are kind of smiling. I'm like, if I'm the caddy, I'm pissed. That's just $1.5 million. That 20% just went away. Yeah. That 20% just went out the window because of your sorry ass.
Yeah. Yeah. Over a four putt. And then, he just hit a bad shot on the par 3 and there's water everywhere. So that just is what it is. And then the drop zone is just about as far as the dang tee shot. He should have just re-teed. But yeah, so they get to a playoff. Everybody falls back to the field. Brendan Todd had a shot. He was 8 under. He could have birdied 18. Didn't he? Actually missed the green and then shortened a bunker. Couldn't hole it out. Scheffler gets in the house. Makes two pretty good pars down the stretch.
He made great pars. They were par saves. I think probably the 17th was probably a better par save than the 18th because apparently that bunker shot, even though I thought both of them short-sighted themselves, apparently it was fairly easy. Both of them got up and down.
Easy,
So I guess I guess they were hitting both into the wind and that it was uphill, so it was going to stop. I thought when they short-sighted themselves, I was like, yep, this is where Burns wins it. Like just right here, he's going to end up bogeying the 18th. And he got up and down. Also, our buddy Scott Stallings made a run. And
he did, man. It was just so tough. The conditions were so tough. And
18 was playing way tougher than everybody thought. All those guys had gap wedge or pitching wedge in their hand.
Hitting into a wall of wind.
And everybody came up short because Stallings, the announcers were talking about how they thought he was aimed a little too right. But you could tell he was playing that draw in there because even when it hit short, it spun back dead left. He was playing, he was trying to make it. He just was hitting into a friggin' gust of 35 miles an hour, and it just grabbed his ball and left it 20 feet short.
But that's his best finish of the year, and it was fun watching our boy with like tons of TV coverage, and he was basically in it until he 3-putted 17. He 3-putted 17, and 17 was not easy. Like that was a tough pin. And if you got it going far past the hole, everybody had the same 10-footer coming back. Scotty Sheffler even had it, and he drained it.
Scheffler should have 3-putted 17. Like that was an unbelievable comeback putt that he made.
Yep. So Sam Burns wins the first, like I said, wins in the first playoff. They go play 18. He hits like a 30-footer from off the green, just jars it. And then Scheffler had about a 35, 40-footer. I guess it had to be a little bit closer because Burns putted first, but he just kind of, it was a good effort, but
his didn't break.
Didn't really scare.
Burns is broke from above the hole, but Scheffler's didn't break from below the hole. I think he had the right line. He just didn't get the break he thought he saw.
Yep. So going into a little conversation real quick. So Scotty Sheffler, holy cow, he had an opportunity to win 5 tournaments out of 8 events.
8 events.
He did miss the cut at the PGA. We're about halfway, right at halfway through the season. And like I said, he's got 4 wins. He had a playoff to win 5. So the scenario I want to post, I want to give you an over under, and then let's just talk it out over the rest of the year. So you got 2 majors left. You got some big tournaments. You got the playoffs. I'm gonna set the over under at 1.5. How many?
I'm sure he'll play the Memorial. I'm sure he'll play some of the like big name tournaments.
1.5, 1.5.
The
over
Travelers.
Under. Scotty Sheffler wins for the rest of the year.
Okay, 1.5. I as much as hot as because it's hard to argue with his success. Like you just said, he's had a chance to win 5 of 8 tournaments that he's played in. That's phenomenal. So I want to go over, but I will say this: the competition now is just unbelievable. I mean, Stallings had a chance to win it. HV3, if he just doesn't brain fart on the back 9, he probably should have won that tournament. She shoots a 45. Yeah. And then you got Sam Burns, who's also a multiple tournament winner this year.
Yes.
That's number 3 for him because he won early when he won a couple early. So I want to go over just because I think one of these tournaments is just going to play easy, and with him being as good as he is, and I want to go over, but then I look at the competition. I just don't know. If the line set at 1.5, that must mean they may think he may win one more, and that's it.
Yeah.
So
no, there is no line. I made that line up.
Oh, you made that line up? I'm going to go gut feeling. I'm going to go over, and the only reason is because of the statistic you just gave. He's had a chance to win 5 of the 8 tournaments he's played in.
And he's got about 10 left, realistically, that he'll probably play in. Maybe 10 tournaments left. So
giving him basically, let's just say, out of the next 10 tournaments he plays in, there's a 4 to 5. There, like 4 or 5 of them, he's going to have a chance down the stretch to win.
What do you think? Which ones do you think he has the best chance to win?
I don't think the U.S. Open is one, because the U.S. Open, you and I have talked about, that's one of the strongest fields in golf. So the competition is going to be there, and the U.S. Open just plays different. I do think, I don't know how he plays, but with the course as short as he is and as creative as he is, because that's what he's turned to lately, is his creativity. I think he has a chance to win the Open Championship, British Open. So where he could be a 2-time major winner in the year. But with his length, he's got a chance. Like the Memorial coming down on 18 always gives people trouble. That fits his shot shape. Like he could pick up 2 shots on the field in that tournament just from birdieing 18 2 days out of the 4.
Yeah.
Or pick up 3 or 4 shots from birdieing 18 2 days out of the 4. So I mean, that's a possibility. I know we make fun of the Travelers, but I'm sure he'll probably play in something like, he's not sponsored by RBC, so I don't know that he'll play in that.
He might take that week off.
He may take Canada off. So yeah, I think he's
over.
got a chance. I say over too, because I think with his length, he's got a chance. He's going to be up there in the FedEx Cup standings. He got a chance to win it on the final tournament of the year.
That's the one. See, I'm sort of penciling that in as a win, because he gets to start off. Yeah. He gets to start off with a lead. So I'm sort of penciling that in as a win already. So
with a big ass lead too.
Yeah. I'm going to say over as well, because basically they talked about it. There's like no way anybody can catch him for the rest of the year. So somebody would have to win like both majors. There'd have to be like one of the guys win like 2 or 3 times to catch him.
Is there another WGC? You always get big points for WGC. Is there another WGC event?
Is Rocket City Mortgage Classic? Is that a WGC? Or
I'm not sure. If somebody can win one of the majors, a WGC, and it's got to be one of the guys that's already in the top 10. So it's got to be like a JT or even a Sam Burns. Sam Burns could probably catch him if he won one of the majors, which he could very well do that as well. And he won a WGC. I'm sure the math is there. But there's maybe 3 guys in the field that can catch him at this point, if that. Yeah. So he's gonna be lit. And even if they do catch him, Kyle, he's still gonna start in second place or third place. He's starting a tournament.
Exactly.
So he's still getting strokes above the rest of the field, except for the 2 guys that may or may not be ahead of him.
Yeah, exactly. So
yeah, you got it. That's a good one to pencil. I keep forgetting that they always start with the lead. So
that's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at that one, and then I don't know, one of these playoff, like the Wyndham or TPC, I guess the BMW, something like that. Like I just feel like he's going to probably win one of those, one of those playoff tournaments, and then tour championship. So I'm going to go with over too. I think, which is crazy to think that we're talking about Scotty Sheffler could be win 6 times on the tour this year.
Yeah.
That's just kind of nuts to think, but that's just how good he is. And we just saw he could have already had his 5th win this past weekend. If he just shoots even par the last day, like in terrible conditions, he only shot 2 over and then went to a playoff. So Scotty Sheffler, he's pretty good. He's not bad.
And he made the wedding that night.
Yes, and then he went to a wedding afterwards, which is
and
what a life. What a life.
He went to a wedding and Sam Burns went to Buc-ee's.
Sam Burns did go to Buc-ee's. I saw that.
He went to Buc-ee's.
The only way to celebrate in Texas is going to Buc-ee's. We're getting to Buc-ee's. Hey, Beavers at work. Beavers at work. I've seen the signs. They are at work. You know what else is at work?
What's that?
The laser rangefinders from Blue Tees Golf.
Yep.
Let me tell you what. Go get they got all these things like the Bushnells and all these deals. They got the slope on them. You're going to pay $550 for.
No doubt.
You can get the Series 3 Blue Tees, which does Blue Tees rangefinder, which has the laser lock on, the buzz, the magnet built in. The Bushnells don't even have those. The magnet built in, you can stick it to the side. You don't have to get the stupid wrap on it or anything like that. It just sticks, comes out of the box ready. On and off toggle slope. I think they call it like infrared, like, so it kind of has like a red view in the lens, which helps it lock on a lot better, a lot easier. All for under $400. I mean, and then you use coupon code DADBOD, you can take another 10% off. Like, I don't know why you would want to spend pay full price for a rangefinder anymore. It's all marketing after that. Like, if you got something like Blue Tees, you can go out there, you can trust it, and you don't have to break the bank to make it happen. Love those guys. Check them out, Blue Tees Golf, and then use coupon code DADBOD, get you 10% more off.
I love it.
So,
and they look cool, and they come in different colors. Get the pink.
Yep.
Let me just
pink,
go ahead and tell you, get the
black, pink. Navy blue. They even got Bluetooth speakers.
Yes. You can get a bundle right now and still save 10% even on the bundle.
Oh yeah, you can take 10% off the bundle. You just save everything. Let's go. Just buy the whole store, save it all. All right. So Nate's typically our scenario guy, but Ben and I put our heads together.
That Wednesday snuck up on him, bub.
Yeah, the Would You Rather Wednesday, that's every Wednesday. It was tough. It snuck up on him this time. The holiday got him. That's fine. We'll let it slide. So Ben came up with a scenario. I came up with a scenario. Neither one of us knows what the other scenario is. So we're going to drop the bomb, let it erupt, and then see what happens afterwards. So we're going to start off with Ben's, and then I got one after that, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So Ben, hit me with the first scenario.
We get to see how quickly Kyle is able to use Google on the fly, because he's going to want to do some research on that. Because I said I can't give you this because I don't want you researching it, because I know how you are. You're big into he's a big research guy.
Huge research guy.
Would you rather be crowned an amateur champion or a collegiate individual champion, and why?
I would go with the amateur champion.
Okay, why?
I think it's a lot of college guys win the amateur championship, but I feel like it's just a little bit more prestigious, and I don't know exactly all of the exemptions you get, but I know you get exempt into the Masters, into a couple of different events from the U.S. Amateur. I'm not sure if you win the collegiate national championship, if you get those same exemptions. Neither one of them are going to win you money, but it does seem like the U.S. Amateur kind of catapults a lot, maybe kind of catapults your career a little bit easier. I don't really know. It just seems like U.S. Amateur would be a little bit more prestigious, although it would be pretty sweet winning the collegiate national championship for your school that you're playing for too. So that is it, team or individual?
Individual, so you're like a Kirk Pettit or Matthew Wolf or the kid from Vandy that just won this past year.
The guy from Augusta State that beat Brandon Mancino. That guy. Yeah.
That's what you. I mean, that's what you are. You do represent your school, but it's an individual award, because it is crowned before the actual team competition is crowned. They actually do the individual national champions like 3 or 4. He won day before yesterday, because when you're watching this, it'll be on a Wednesday. So he won on Monday, and then they had the final 4 on Tuesday.
Here's another
championship on Wednesday. So
here's another reason why I would take the USAM champ over the collegiate champ. I kind of feel like the collegiate champ could be kind of fluky because you ride the coattails of your teammates for the whole year. And then if you just get hot for 4 rounds or 3 rounds, no, it's 4 rounds. You just get hot for 4 rounds, you're the national champion. You know what I mean? You may have had a crappy year. With USAM, there's all these different stages, and then you have to go into match play and all that good stuff. And you get to wear in shorts in both. So you win on both sides there. But so I don't know. I'm going USAM.
You get to use a push cart though in the individual collegiate. So
that's a plus.
There's that. There's the plus. So here's why I would take collegiate championship, because I will say this: you were right about the USAM. You do get some exemptions. You get to the Masters, US Open, and the British Open.
Wow.
So those are the 3 that you get. Here's the crappiest part about all that is the guy that you just beat, he gets those same damn exemptions. He just didn't get a trophy. So
runner-up.
So the runner-up still is going to get to go do that stuff too. And as far as exemptions for NCAA championship, they get some sponsor exemptions to be able to play as like an amateur, but there's nothing that's guaranteed. So you're going to at least get those guarantees like you were talking about. However, here's what you do get guaranteed, because I'm taking the collegiate individual championship. And the reason being, because even being an Auburn guy, you're going to basically be just absolutely on steroids hero anywhere around the golf complex the rest of the time. The U.S. amateur champion, that guy that won this past year, or Kirk Pettit won the collegiate national championship. Turk Pettit. I'm sorry. I forgot the guy that won the USM, but that's the thing, is I knew who won the collegiate and I didn't know who won the DADGUM.
But Turk is from Auburn. So
but I mean, like Matthew Wolf, I knew he was. I knew, like, I can't name off other guys that were collegiate or that were USM besides Tiger and Bryson DeChambeau. Those are the only
Buddy Alexander.
Buddy Alexander. See? And so you also, if as an amateur champion, you can't accept money over $750. Now with NIL, being a collegiate guy, you can get way more than $750.
Oh, wow. If you win, I wonder how NIL affects amateur status, because if you were to win it as like a sophomore, holy cow, at the NIL money you could make and still stay in college.
Yes.
I mean, I know those guys may want to go pro, but like, if you were to win it, like Brandon Mancino, I think was a sophomore, or he was either a freshman or a sophomore when he came in second. He kind of got screwed on the 18th hole, just terrible luck, and lost to, I can't remember the guy's name from Augusta State, but like, he was really young. Like, imagine the NIL deal he gets after that.
Yes.
If you get paid, like, that's actually a very good point. I still think I would take the majors. Major appearances and the status from that, but there's definitely something cool about winning it, wearing your team colors.
Yes. So. Here's the trash thing about winning the U.S. Amateur.
Yeah,
they're like, you get the next 10 years you're exempt to play in the U.S. Amateur. But I just won the U.S. Amateur. I'm going pro. Like, I'm not. Right. I'm not taking, like, you can take that 10 years and shove it all up in your rear. I'm not taking that.
Yeah. No, I'm going pro.
They make that like a big deal. That probably was a big deal back during the Bobby Jones
era, back when you had to sign your card.
Yeah. Makes him be so mad at us. He's not here to defend himself. Yeah. But, you know, today's time where they're like, yeah, you get an exemption over the next 10 years in U.S. Amateur. Whoop-de-doo. Like,
whoop-de-doo.
Show me the Masters and show me the U.S. Open, bub. I don't care anything about next year's amateur, U.S. Amateur. Here's even Tiger, because Tiger was back-to-back U.S. Am champs. Yeah. So, I mean, I guess in that, like, yes, back in the mid-'90s, that was cool to get that exemption. But even somebody like a Tiger, he didn't use it. Phil didn't use it.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't stay 10 years. So Give them something else. Give them an exemption to make it cooler to be the AM champ. Give them exemption to all the rest of the damn tournaments throughout the rest of the year. How about that?
I think the coolest thing though is that you don't get to participate every year, but you get to go to Augusta every year, and you could play in the par 3 tournament every year. You could play the practice rounds Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, like you're going to play in the tournament. Like you get that forever, which that's really damn cool too. So
no, that's super cool.
Like Buddy Alexander was telling us about that. Like he's had hole-in-ones in the par 3 contest before. Mm-hmm. Like he's done it for 100 years. So there is some pluses, but I just feel like U.S. Amateur just kind of dump trucks at the end of the day. I think you're hoping I would take collegiate. I think you're really hoping I would take.
I really thought about it, and I was like, man, it would be so cool to be an individual champion for your university. Yes. And to be able to come back and basically your picture's all on the wall. Like now, there's a difference to that. As U.S. Am champ, your picture's headed straight to the U.S. Golf Hall of Fame. Like you're going to be in there too for being an amateur champion. But the fact that you're going to be able to hobnob with, let's just say you win it, Mancino, if he would have won it that year, they already get to come back and spend time with the program. Put that on steroids if you're a champ, if you're a national champ. Like you're going to be all over that place. And when you look back at the previous national champions that have won the collegiate national championship, they're on tour of recent. So it's like, and they're getting those exemptions now. They're not getting the exemption to play in the Masters, and they're not getting the exemption to play in the U.S. Open like you do as an AM champ. But they're still getting exemptions to play in other tournaments.
Yeah.
And the funny part about that is they can take money.
Yep. Well, like for example, this is a cool story, and I actually know this guy, Chip Spratlin. This is the 20th year anniversary of when he won the individual championship. I've actually played golf with Chip Spratlin.
He beat Tiger.
And he played in 1995, won the Ncaa championship, and beat Tiger Woods. So he gets to have that story for his whole life.
And then Tiger turned around and won the USAM.
USAM. Let's ask Chip.
That's what we should ask Chip. What's cooler, winning the national championship?
Chip, let's talk right now. You get to pick. You could take Tiger's USAM, and he could have your NCAA championship. Which one do you pick?
If you could switch right now, would you do it? That would be interesting. You should ask him. Since you play golf, we got to ask him.
I got a connection with him. I might get him on the podcast. That would be an awesome podcast.
Yeah, because we can say, look, this was a scenario. This is, Ben wants to be the hometown hero, and he wants to just have free beers the rest of his life anytime he visits the Auburn golf program.
Yeah.
He finds that more important. But I'm also closer to 50, so I think that'd be pretty cool to be able to do it this age.
Yeah.
Probably wouldn't find that as cool at 24, 25, but, bumping up there near 50, that'd be pretty neat to be able to go back and sit in there and tell old stories like John Daly does and drink beer and smoke stogies in front of those young whippersnappers that are
young flat bellies or whatever.
Yeah, those young flat bellies.
Yeah. All right. That would be.
I think we're winners either way. I think that's perfect. Like the way you described it of what you get. Yes, that is cool. But I still think I think either one. I'd be interested to see if Chip would switch. If he at today's age, would he switch?
Yep. We'll ask him. We'll get him on. That would be a cool story regardless. All right. Mm-hmm. Speaking of cool, y'all need to check out Primo Golf Apparel. You've seen us in the joggers. Look, that's not all they have. No. Yes, they're awesome. They've got blade collar polos, which are sick. The material feels so good, lightweight. They're coming out with a whole bunch of new styles. They should start being ready to ship in July. Like it's right around the bend. You're talking about awesome prints, polos, woven belts. Everybody loves belts. They got all kind of different colors, and they're affordable. They're like $35. Like you get a woven belt from like Peter Millar, it's like $120. Like
it's ridiculous.
Great price stuff, and you get a discount. Use coupon code DADPOD15. Take 15% off every single order that you want to for the rest of until they don't like us anymore. So Maddie and those dudes, they're awesome. They've sent us a whole bunch of stuff. We love those guys. Primo Golf Apparel, check them out. Joggers are becoming the next big thing. You're seeing a lot more pros wearing them. So go ahead and jump on board.
And the woven belts. That's so hilarious. That back in that, like 90s and 2000s, the woven belts you could get for like $9.99 at Walmart because nobody will wear them. And now that's like what everybody, like the white belt is out and everybody's wearing the woven belt.
Woven belts, little stretchy woven. Love it. Love it.
Hey,
all
before
right,
you move on to your scenario, I do want to point out too the fact I saw that picture too. You're talking about Chip when he beat Tiger. You know what was behind him? There were a bunch of scorecards behind him. You know what he didn't have to sign? All the people that were keeping up with his damn score that were right there behind him, that it was showing right there in the picture. So I still don't understand why you have to sign a damn scorecard, because the entire tournament kept up with it the entire time and knew he beat Tiger Woods.
Exactly.
No,
Nobody doubted. Nobody had any doubt in it and whatsoever.
And that was in 95, Kyle. That was before you had all the technology today.
Yep. They probably needed to sign them at that point in time though, because it probably wasn't televised and walking scores and electronic scores, stuff like that.
But still, they had his score posted.
Oh yeah, they knew it. They knew it. All right, so here's my scenario.
Okay.
And I want to give a shout out to so in the Locked On Auburn Discord, we have a golf channel. And I threw this out there, and this was an unbelievable scenario from a guy. His handle's just binge 61, BNJ 61.
That's
so
me.
Rarely, it's not you. So rarely will there be this at a course, but I'm sure there's courses out there. And if you play at a course like this, I know you have a story where this has happened. Okay. Opening hole, par 3. Okay. Opening hole, par 3. You hit a hole in one on the breakfast ball. Do you get to count it? You're sitting there, you block the first one outright into the bunker. Breakfast ball, we're going to take a second one, jar it. Does it count as a hole in one? It counts on the scorecard. You get to write a 1 on the scorecard, but do you get the story? Do you get to count it in your golfing career? What do you get to do? Well, you call it, Ben. Does it count?
This coming for a guy that does not have a hole in one.
Yeah.
I've come close so many times, but I do not have, which is kind of odd because you would think, I mean, I'm not, this isn't a humble brag by any means, but Kyle has said that like with my wedges and like my 9-irons, like playing some short par 3s, you would think that I would have lucked out and jarred one at some point.
Yeah.
And you know, from 135 in, like at some point, some magic would have happened.
Right.
It has not. It never has. However, hole in one on breakfast balls and no go on me.
No. So you don't count that. Like you don't get to talk about it. You don't get to brag about. Do you have? Okay, I guess you get.
Wait. I would tell people. I'd be like, yeah, I actually had a 3 where I hit it in from the tee box after I put my first one in the water, or I hit the first one out of bounds. And we always I would tell the story. I'd be like, we always take a breakfast ball on one, so I decided to go ahead and hit another one, and I hold it.
That's key. So your story is, you will qualify your story. So when people say, hey, have you ever had a hole in one? You would say, I've had one, but it's on.
I'd say, no, I came close. It counted as a 3 because I hit my first ball in the water. That's how I would describe it. And then I hit my next ball in the hole.
But you didn't count it as a 3. You wrote it down as a 1 on the scorecard.
I would have never written it down as a 1. I would have never written it down. On the first hole. I would, after a breakfast ball. No, I wouldn't. Kyle, if we're on 8 at AU Club, and I hit my first ball in the water, I hit my ball in the water. The other 3 guys hit their ball in the water, because I've been a part of groups like this before, and they're like, you know what? We're all re-teeing. We're going again. You hit a hole in one, it does not count. You're not taking a hole. It doesn't go on the card. So it doesn't matter if it's first hole or whatever hole it may be.
Okay.
Because you don't. I mean, there's a reason you can't even do that. Like on a mulligan, you can't even win the truck at a scramble. Like it doesn't count. You can't do that. So you can't write down a 1. You can't write down a 1 on the second ball you hit.
So what do you?
It's a breakfast ball.
Okay. Do you write down
whatever it is?
What if you're on the first tee and you rip your drive out of bounds, and then you re-tee and you make a birdie? What do you write down?
Oh, I
It's a
think that's
par
different.
4.
I write down a birdie. That's not a hole in one. A hole in one's like
It's an eagle. So what if you start off with a par? Okay.
it's
A hole in one's an eagle.
A hole in one.
one's an
No,
eagle.
a hole in one is a hole in one. Everybody that says that, oh, it's the
Nope.
same thing. It's just two. It's just -2 from what
A
your
hole
what
in
par
one
is.
is an eagle. It's
No.
an eagle. It's
You can't
2
take
under.
credit for a hole in one.
It's 2 under.
Matter of fact,
So-
we even do that. Okay, Salgahatchee. That's one. Okay, Salgahatchee has got water on the left. You can't really go OB right because there's 18 or there's 9 fairway over there. But you got water on the left. And there have been times where when I've played out there with buddies, we call it a cheating birdie. When you hit that first one in the water and you take that breakfast ball and then you end up birdieing the first hole.
Yeah.
Like even then that day, we even call it cheat. And if we're gambling, you're not allowed to use like that one doesn't count because
I've
we have
never played that.
that's the way we do it. We do that. Like it
so
is
the first hole is just out. The first hole, you just don't play the first hole. But the first hole is just there's just no bet on the first hole, is what it is. Is that what you're saying? So like whenever you play with your friends, like essentially number 1 is just a warm-up hole. There's no bet because 9 times out of 10, somebody's going to take a breakfast ball on number 1.
Yeah, I would say I would venture to say there's not like a written rule that we have, but I'd venture to say I doubt that any money has exchanged over the first hole with the group that I play with.
Okay.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I mean, there have even been times where like somebody that did birdie after going OB, like out there at Salt, like hitting in the water.
Yeah.
Like there'll be times where a guy have like a 10-foot putt for par, like pick it up. Just I feel bad. Like just pick it up. Let's go.
Yeah. Well,
and just go to the next hole. So no,
I just don't see the difference.
No, you can't.
If you can't ride a 1 down, you can't ride a 3 down. You can't ride a 4 down. If you birdie or eagle after a breakfast ball, if you can't ride a 1 down after a breakfast ball, you can't ride a birdie or an eagle down after a breakfast ball on any other par 4 or par 5. That's if you got to be consistent, Ben. Come on now. You got to be.
Because I think the outlier is a hole in one's just different, man. That's just different.
At the end of the day, it's not.
I mean, because think about it. No, it is because I just told you I've never had a hole in one ever. I've had tons of birdies in my career. I've had tons of eagles in my career. I've never had a hole in one.
Dude,
so getting another birdie or getting another eagle, okay, congratulations, that's awesome. But
would you say so? If someone said, "Have you had a hole in one?" You wouldn't say, "Yeah, I've had one on a breakfast ball." It's a crazy story. I had one on a breakfast ball. I hit one left. I dropped another one. Or I hit one on the green. I hit one on the green. I was like, I just didn't like it. So I hit another one and it went in the hole. So I had a hole in one on a breakfast ball. You would say you would not even call it a hole in one.
I wouldn't call that a hole in one.
Not even with a qualifier.
No.
You're
I wouldn't
crazy.
call that a hole in one. I wouldn't.
You're crazy.
I don't think anybody can call that a hole in one. Like you can't legit go tell that story at a bar somewhere to buddies when they start telling golf stories. Like
I think it makes the story better.
No, it doesn't. It makes you a damn cheater. That's what it does.
No.
Yes,
everybody hits breakfast balls. Everybody hits breakfast balls. Come on, man. And that Thursday afternoon round, everybody hits breakfast balls. I count it. Hell, I counted a hole in one where I was by myself. I'm counting this one too. I'm counting this one too.
And we make fun of you every time you count the one by yourself, and you have video proof, and we still don't believe
whatever I write on the card, that's what I got. That's what I count. So if you blow the first,
you heard it first. Kyle Rush is gonna pencil whip you in every scramble he plays in because what he writes on the card sticks.
No, because we're playing the same rules. So hey, bud. You want to hit another ball? Hit another ball. We got a breakfast where we call it at the beginning. If we're going to play a breakfast ball, play your damn breakfast ball. If you like your shot and you're going to be a little cocky guy, go ahead and get back in the card. If you want to hit another one just to get a little loose, sometimes it's hard to get to the range beforehand. You got to get 2 to get, kind of get the blood pumping. No, whatever you write down on the card after, like in a breakfast ball scenario, is your score, period. If you're going to count birdies, if you're going to count eagles, it counts. There's no other way to do it because if you don't play your first ball, otherwise just never take a breakfast ball. But if you don't play your first ball in that scenario, then how can you the reason
we will on the birdies and eagles, we'll write them down, but it doesn't count towards. I told you we got this standard bet with the group that I play with.
Yeah.
And it's a bet we play or we pay X amount of money for birdies and X amount of money for eagles.
Yeah.
Let's use number one at the lake at RTJ as an example. You go in the water there and you take your breakfast ball, but then you hit it down in the middle of the fairway, and then you go up and you hit you a tap in birdie. You're not getting paid any money for that birdie.
But what do you write down on your scorecard?
They will write down a birdie. Like we will write down a birdie on that, just because you got a birdie, but like no money's exchanged. So
you write down a birdie because you birdie.
Yeah, on a breakfast ball.
So what? Everybody's playing a breakfast ball.
And again, you're trying to compare. You do this all the time where you compare apples to oranges.
How?
You're comparing a hole in one to a regular eagle, and that's not the case.
No,
that's just not the case.
You're trying to,
because I have hit in from the fairway numerous times for eagle. That's about the same distance as a par 3 as a hole in one, but it's not a hole in one.
It's pretty damn sick though.
An eagle, it is pretty, especially when people were watching me. It was pretty damn sick when that ball.
Hey, I'll tell you what though. If somebody says, "Have you had a hole in one?" You say, "Nah, but I've holed out from." You will say, "I've never had a hole in one," but I bet you say in the follow up, "No, but I've either had several hole outs or I had a hole out for eagle or a double eagle on a par 5." Like you don't say.
I would still say that even if I got a breakfast ball hole in one, I'd be like, nope, I don't. I've come close so many times.
There's
no chance I would.
No way you wouldn't say.
I would not feel right about myself telling somebody that I pulled a ball out of my pocket.
You would claim it with a disclaimer. You would 100%. You would say, "Yes, I have a hole in one, but it was on a breakfast ball. But I teed one up and I hit it in the hole in one shot." No. Yes, you would totally say that.
No,
I would too. I wouldn't say I had a hole in one with just like, and that be it. I wouldn't just say, "Yeah, I have 2 hole in ones. I had one by myself and one and one on a breakfast ball."
Your story would be even worse. I had one by myself and one on a breakfast ball. Yeah. Like, "You lying son of a bitch."
All right. You have no honor. No, I mean, I would say I've had a hole in one, but I had it on a breakfast ball.
Then that's not a hole in one.
It is a hole in one.
You know what? It doesn't even legally count. There are courses that will ask you when you turn in your scorecard and you say you had a hole, they will ask you, "Is it from did you take a mulligan to get it?" Because they won't honor it. They won't let you buy like the flag and stuff.
That's fair. I don't need that. I'm just saying, do you call it a hole in one?
You just need the self-gratification of giving yourself an extra hole in one in your life. That doesn't really a hole in one.
When somebody asks you, have you ever had a hole in one? You will, without a doubt, answer, "Yes, I have one, but it was on a breakfast ball."
That's the difference. I would say no.
10 people
I don't have one.
I don't believe.
I don't have one.
You have to. Then you can't. Then if that's the case, I don't believe this is apples to. I don't believe this is an apples to orange comparison. I think it's apples to apples. It's because all you're doing is saying one score does count on a breakfast ball and one doesn't count on a breakfast ball. Or actually,
no, that's not what I'm saying. You're saying an eagle is an eagle, and it's not. How many eagles have you had in your life?
Several.
Yeah, probably 100. I mean, knowing how far you hit the ball, you probably had 100 eagles. You've had one hole in one.
Yes, with an asterisk.
That's with an asterisk. See, that's not the same. That's not the same. Like, you can't put hole in one and eagle in the same sentence.
But the thing is, I'm not saying that an eagle is a hole in one. A hole in one is an eagle. They are both 2 under. What I'm saying is, if you can't count a hole in one on the first hole, then you can't count anything on a first hole with a breakfast ball. It's a score. At the end of the day, it's a score. So if you blow your first, if it's a par 5, you blow your first one way out of bounds right, you rip one down the middle, then you hole out for a double eagle from 220 yards out. You're telling me you don't count that?
You won't get, not in our group, you won't get paid for doing
that. No. I've played with your group. I don't believe you. Y'all be high-fiving and pumping. I tell you,
a double eagle would pay a whole lot of money in our group, and they'd be like, I got the guy that doesn't play with us when you play, like he's working or something. Oh, he would flat out look at everyone. I am not paying any of you sons of bitches for that. Like, he would.
Does he take 2 off the first tee? If we're playing the same rules, who cares?
Yeah, we all take 2 off first tee.
Well, then how? Well, then
he rarely ever takes 2 off because he hits it right down the middle every single damn time. So no, he probably doesn't take 2 off the first tee.
If he doesn't, maybe the only time you remotely have an
all the times we've been playing, you're frozen, by the way. If you can hear me,
I can hear you.
This makes for fantastic podcast content.
And what's funny is on the YouTube video, you can hear Ben say all that, and then you can hear me freeze up. It's going to kick on in just a second, I think. But we'll jump back in as soon as the internet kicks on. All right, we're back. Sorry, I had a little technical difficulties. Ben was just telling me how he would never count birdies, eagles, anything on a breakfast ball. Hole in one, doesn't matter, doesn't count. Let me tell you who would. And that's Mr. Nate Pass. He is a dominant breakfast ball golfer. So if he gets that breakfast ball in play, it's game over. You just better go ahead and count it. It's on the card, and you're paying. So I'm just gonna go ahead and tell you.
I still say the more and more I think about it, I think you just can't compare a hole in one from a opening par 3 on a breakfast ball to any other type of breakfast ball. I just don't think you can.
There we go into the, you know what that is, Ben?
Because it's just a rarity, man.
You're just going, you know what this is? This is just does rules. And you know how I feel about just does rules. I do not like them. Don't make me quote Joe Dirt. Please, God, don't make me quote Joe Dirt. Oh, good discussion. Good discussion. I say count it with a disclaimer. Ben says you can't count it at all. So there you go. Hole in one on a breakfast ball. Guys,
Kyle's cheap.
Incredible breaking news right now. Okay.
Yep.
When you're hearing this, it's going to be the first time people are really talking about it. It just hit Twitter. Dustin Johnson has joined the LIV Tour. He will be playing. He signed on, committed to play in the London first event. And per PGA Tour, he's done. Per PGA Tour, he is not allowed. He will not be allowed back. His waivers are denied. He will not be allowed back on the PGA Tour. I'm absolutely blown away. Other names, Sergio Garcia, Louis Oosthuizen, Lee Westwood, and Kevin Na. Kevin Na is another one.
Kevin Na.
Wow.
You know who's rumored to be headed that way?
Who's that?
Nate's buddy, Tyler Gooch.
The Gooch is loose.
That's rumored to be headed that way. Has not yet accepted anything, but is rumored to be headed that way. So 42-man field is going to be playing, and it's going to be in a couple of weeks. So I'd be interested to see who's picked it up TV rights, man. That's going to be phenomenal to watch.
Phil Mickelson, not on the list. You got Brendan Grace, Justin Harding, Dustin Johnson, Matt Jones. That's another one. Chase Koepka, Brooks's little brother. Good for him. Graham McDowell. He's a staple in a lot of these
UAB
events. UAB guy. I'm trying to see it. Turk Pettit. Wow. Whoa. We were just talking about Turk Pettit.
Wow.
Auburn, Alabama. Get some, Turk. Go ahead and get paid.
Get your money, man.
Won the national championship a couple years ago for Clemson. So Turk Pettit is in there. Ian Poulter, we already said that. Hudson Swafford or Harris English, one of the two is.
I don't know which one that is, but one of them's going to be in there.
Yeah, Lee.
Be sure to look at the name on the bag so you know who it is.
Peter Uline. You know, he was on the PGA Tour, and then he's been on the Corn Ferry a lot.
Yep.
Former #1 amateur. That's a pretty good one. I mean, not like super duper groundbreaking names, but DJ's
a groundbreaking.
There is no telling what they paid him. Ben, what did they pay him? $100 million? Is that what they were going to pay? Isn't that what they were going to pay Bryson? Something.
I think they were going to pay Bryson that. I mean, you got it. Here's the thing that I would love to know from behind the scenes. This is bad for the PGA Tour, by the way. That DJ's jumping ship, that he's basically giving the PGA Tour
the middle calling finger
their bluff. Going, you know what? He is. That's the thing.
He's calling their bluff.
I'm wondering if his lawyers, I mean, he's got a ton of them because he's got that Gretzky connection too.
Oh yeah.
And I'm sure, and Wayne's sitting around not doing anything right now.
And so Wayne loves DJ.
And so Wayne was probably like, you know what? Let me get my law guys to look at this. I don't think the PGA Tour can hold you over a barrel.
I don't think they can either. And Dustin Johnson may have just crippled them. That could cripple them.
Because if they find that, if other players find out that they can't do shit to Dustin, they're gonna be like, I'm going after 25 million. You guys,
heck yeah.
Hey, travelers.
Let me go get peace. I'm about to go make 20 mil over the weekend. Unfreaking believable. I cannot believe it. That's incredible.
The guys like the Ian Poulters of the world and the Sergios of the world, it'd been so long.
They're at the end. Yeah.
And it'd been so long since they had any sort of PGA Tour win, and they were known as European Tour players anyway. So it's one of those deals where it's kind of like, and now I will say the European Tour has also said that they will discredit anybody that joins. But again, I think they're calling the European Tour's bluff. Do you know how much Europe loves Sergio and Ian Poulter? They ain't gonna throw them out. They got what they're wanting them to be, captains on the Ryder Cup team. They're not throwing them out. Like this is groundbreaking, because I think DJ, the guy that everybody thinks is slow and doesn't do a lot of thinking, which every player has said, don't let it fool you. Guy's got a lot going on up there, which you don't realize. He's got a lot of other play. He thinks differently than everybody else. I think that he and the new
this is
family,
all funny tweet.
I think the new families got together and they're like, hey, F them. They can't do that to you.
This is a funny tweet. It says, Bachelor DJ, my allegiance is to the PGA Tour. That statement, by the way, is circulating. Everybody's retweeting that.
Oh, there's no doubt.
I'm committed. So Bachelor DJ, my allegiance is to the PGA Tour. Married less than a month DJ. Send lawyers, guns, and money. That's great. So there's 42 men committed out of 48. So there's 6 mystery guys still out there. This is a great tweet. Hudson Swafford goes to the LIV Tour, but dodges a lifetime ban by still getting to play on the PGA Tour. That's Harris English.
That is phenomenal. That fits right with ours. That fits right with what we say all the time. Yeah, this. I'm telling you, you're right. I think the best thing that Kyle just said was this cripples the PGA Tour, because that's one of the names they needed. They needed a name, and DJ's the name. I mean,
4 top 50 players in the official world golf rankings. That's pretty solid. DJ, Louis, Gooch, and Kevin Na. That's a pretty strong get for them.
Gooch isn't there yet. He is not committed yet. He's not on that list.
Is he on that list? Committed. I think he's committed.
That article I just read that said it was posted 8 minutes ago, so it didn't have him in there.
We'll have to see. There's going to be a lot of news coming out. I would expect some more names to be released as you're listening to this. So, wow, it's about to get really interesting, boys and girls. So pay attention to that. Thank y'all for listening. It was another fun episode of Would You Rather Wednesday. 2 great scenarios, fun stuff to talk about. Ben, it's always fun to do one with you. Episode 184. Check us out. We'll be back Friday. We got some other stuff to talk about on Friday, and I can't wait to see what else comes of this LIV Tour stuff. There's probably going to be
we may have 3 or 4 more names drop by then.
Yeah, 3 or 4 more names to drop by then. So hang out, catch us back on Friday. Appreciate it, guys.
You know who's getting paid, Kyle?
Who's that?
Ever who the lawyer is that figured out that loophole for DJ? Every PGA Tour player is calling that dude.
Oh yeah, in the rumor I just saw, 150 mil. 150 million. Hey, you know what the Powerball is? I think it's like 150 million right now. so you know, whatever. Maybe go win the Powerball or go play on the LIV Tour.
Yeah.
Appreciate it, guys. Enjoy rest of the week. We'll talk to you on Friday. Dadbod Golf Pod.
Always
broken.